Today on KUJH News, big parking changes are in the works for the next school year, how this reduction in parking will affect you, and the end of an era. KU seniors play their last game in Allen Fieldhouse this weekend, how they're feeling about the milestone, and...
I'm Kirsten Peterson. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders made a stop in Lawrence just 2 days before the Kansans cast their votes. We'll keep you updated on how the Kansas caucuses could affect the race to the White House. KUJH News starts now.
From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Because we're doing something very radical. We're telling the truth.
A blunt message from Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angelina Dom. Lawrence was definitely feeling the burn last night as Sanders made a last push to win over Kansas before they caucus on Saturday.
After having rallied voters in Kansas City, presidential candidate Bernie Sanders was back to Kansas a week later, except this time in Lawrence on Thursday night. During the rally, Bernie Sanders really spoke on issues regarding women's rights and abortion, raising the minimum wage, and education, which really means a lot in a college town like Lawrence. Looking forward to Saturday, Bernie urges people to get out there and vote.
I think it's great that we have a presidential candidate that cares so much about women's rights, especially because he's not a woman and he's not getting any gain from it, and especially like how he sees the value in like college students.
I mean, I agree with him 100%. I've always saw Bernie as the most genuine candidate and the one that always saw what I needed versus what like the top 1% that he always talks.
With only 2 days left before the Kansas caucuses, Bernie Sanders' timing on hosting a rally in Lawrence was crucial to get votes.
I think you can get a really good college crowd out here and get a lot of people to go out and vote, not just come out to the rally, but really come out and go to the polls, and we can really make a difference.
Of the Treasury.
Reporting for KUJH News, I'm Kirsten Peterson.
You are able to caucus if you will be 18 by November 8th and are a registered voter. Democrats can still register to vote at their caucus location on Saturday from 1 to 3. More than 5,000 people attended the rally to support Bernie Sanders. Some lined up as early as noon. KUJH reporter Hank Cavanero was outside talking with some of those waiting in line.
Is this a good length from her?
No shortage of Bernie Sanders apparel at the rally. The burn was felt everywhere.
I got the shirt today, yes.
For a small price.
$20, well worth it.
Everyone waiting for a chance to see Bernie.
They've had to restructure this line a few times. The line was kind of like just straight back that way, and then they need to make more parking.
But even after that, the line had turned a corner, gone through a field, and looped back 2 more times.
I think we're about, half a mile back, and it looks like it goes for another half mile past us.
For James Ricks and Phil Snap, they have been waiting to see Bernie for a while now. They both drove over 2 hours and then had to wait in line for 3 more.
Probably following him for 2 or 3 years and supporting him really ever since he started running for president.
And everyone has their reasons.
I'm here for Bernie because I don't have billions of dollars to throw at another candidate, so I'm going to be one of the billions of people for a candidate that doesn't have the money.
And Bernie is, I think he's somebody that feels the same way I do.
Everyone waiting in line for their chance to see someone they would like to see be the next president. Reporting in Lawrence, Hank Cavanero, KUJH News.
At 7 o'clock, the doors to the hall were shut, but people continued to file in and were allowed to stay in the overflow area. While his supporters were waiting in line, Sanders took to Mass Street, going store to store, just like he said he would campaign in Vermont. Sanders drew quite a crowd, stopping for selfies and hugs along the way. Feeling the need to look fresh for his big rally, Sanders stopped down into the downtown barbershop for a quick trim. Sanders insisted on paying and remarked that $7 was quite a bargain. Other presidential candidates are making appearances in Kansas this week. Ted Cruz made a stop in Overland Park on Wednesday. And Republican candidate Marco Rubio is hitting the Sunflower State hard, making 3 stops in Kansas today: Topeka this morning, Wichita this afternoon, and Overland Park this evening. KUJH reporter Emma Hogue is live in Overland Park right now. Emma, what are the crowds like?
Marriott Hotel. Now, Marco has had a very busy day today in Kansas, in Wichita earlier, and now then Topeka, and now making his third and final stop in Overland Park, Kansas, preparing for the caucuses tomorrow, trying to push those extra votes. Now, right now, you can see the line right behind me, getting very long. So if you do have a registration pass that you can get online, I suggest getting here as soon as possible. Doors open at 5:30, and Marco is set to take the stage at 6:30. Reporting live from Overland Park, Emma Hope, KUJH News.
Thanks, Emma. Donald Trump will be in Wichita for the caucuses on Saturday. According to a campaign press release, Trump will hold a rally prior to the caucus and then will also make an appearance at the caucus in a last-ditch effort to sway voters. The pre-caucus rally will be held at the Century 2 Performing Arts and Convention Center at 9 a.m. Let's take a look at the most recent delegate counts. On the Republican side, Trump has a nearly 100 delegate lead over Ted Cruz. Rubio is in a distant third. Kasich and Carson have struggled to win delegates so far. Trump has managed to secure about 1/4 of the delegates needed to win the nomination. 40 delegates are up for grab in the Kansas caucuses. Switching over to the Democratic race, Clinton has more than doubled Sanders' delegate count. In addition to the delegates awarded proportionally from the caucuses, Clinton has been more successful in securing superdelegates, which has provided a boost for her campaign. A total of 37 delegates will be decided by Kansans, but 4 of those are superdelegates and not decided by caucus goers. A quick reminder of where and when to caucus this weekend. The Democratic caucus location here in Lawrence is Central Middle School down on Mass Street. Registration runs from 1 to 3, with the caucus beginning at 3 p.m. Officials are anticipating possible parking problems, so allow yourself time to get inside before the doors close at 3. Republicans, you'll have to be up a bit earlier. The caucus will be held at Southwest Middle School on Inverness. It runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Still to come on KUJH News, new parking limitations will take place next semester. Find out which lots will be affected. And the Flint water crisis finally takes a step forward after 5 long months. Details on what they're doing to fix the problem after the break. Parking on campus, it's a daily struggle for many KU students, and it sounds like the situation could become even worse come fall 2016. KUJH reporter Matt Kaufman tells us how upcoming changes in parking regulations will affect students next school year.
Over the next year, students may find it a bit harder to be able to find parking spots on campus. The KU Parking and Transit Department's proposed changes to parking regulations for the 2016-17 school year will result in the temporary loss of over 1,300 parking spaces. This comes as a result of the current construction being done on the Central District. Director of Parking and Transit Donna Holtine says the most affected areas will be the yellow student parking lots.
It'll be yellow student lots. So the biggest one is Lot 90, which is where the majority of students start out their day trying to find parking.
The proposed parking changes will result in the temporary loss of over 1,300 parking space in parking lots all across campus, including here in Lot 72, right behind Allen Fieldhouse.
In addition to the lots by Allen Fieldhouse and the Rec Center, other areas will be losing parking spaces as well. Lot 114 will be losing over 100 parking spots, which affects Jayhawker Towers and Daisy Hill residents. Existing yellow lot parking will also be limited as a result. The loss of so many spaces will make things difficult in the interim for students trying to park on campus.
It's great that they're adding spots next year, but in the meantime it sucks for all of us, especially for seniors, because we're going to be losing all the spots this semester and it's not going to have any benefit for us next semester. So.
Parking on campus is already hard. I mean, I'll probably just end up taking the bus the rest of the semester.
Once the construction ends, however, the lost parking spaces will return and then some, as an additional 236 spaces will be added. The majority of those will be located where McCollum Hall used to be. Holtine is preaching patience to students in the meantime.
I mean, it's going to help. It really is going to help. I know that students, some will think it's painful if they don't get the lot that they want. It's going to be 1 year of tight parking, and then in February of 2017, we hope to have a new garage open in the Central District, and then we'll be able to shuffle students back to that area, and it'll just be 1 year, one quick year.
In the short term, however, students will have to make do with the lack of parking spaces on campus. Reporting from Lawrence, this is Matt Kaufman, KUJH News.
The construction in the Central District should be finished by the summer of 2018. This past Wednesday, March 2nd, was National Spread the Word to End the Word Day. This day helps bring awareness to the R word, which affects and hurts people who have learning disabilities. Natural Ties is a group at the University of Kansas that pairs up students in Greek life with people from around the community who have learning disabilities. Each week, they engage in a different activities such as crafts, basketball, games, and movies. Ty Donald Hutchins opens up about Spread the Word to End the Word and how the R word has affected him.
I don't like the R word at all, because when I got made fun in high school, someone called me the R word, and I didn't even say anything back to that person, and I really wanted to tell the teacher, but the teacher didn't do nothing.
To learn more about the organization, you can check out their Facebook page under Natural Ties. The lead pipes that caused a water crisis in Flint, Michigan are being removed. Crews began their work this morning, digging up the old pipes connected to the water mains in the city. Flint Mayor Karen Weaver says she wants all of the pipes replaced and has asked the state for $55 million to do it. The state pledged $58 million to Flint, but none of the money will go toward replacing lead service lines. Instead of waiting for the state, Mayor Weaver says she is using $2 million the city has received to start replacing 8,000 lead service lines. So it has been a gorgeous day in Lawrence, and it looks like we'll stay that way for a while. Let's take a look at your Saturday outlook. Waking up around 7 a.m., it'll be 34 degrees, sunny, calm, and no chance of rain throughout the day. Around noon, looking forward to our men's basketball game. It'll be around 57 degrees, sunny, and still calm. And around 6 p.m., after you're leaving Fieldhouse, hopefully with a win from the Jayhawks, it'll be about 56 degrees, still sunny, but it'll be a little breezy. This beautiful weather should hang on throughout the rest of the weekend. Saturday being around 65, sunny and calm with no chance of rain. That'll change for Sunday, going up to around 70, with actually being mostly cloudy, windy, and then a 20% chance of rain. Monday, it'll escalate a little bit more, becoming a 71, getting some scattered thunderstorms in there, becoming a little more windy with a 40% chance of rain. So actually, I'm way more excited than I thought for this rain. It's been like a really long time since we've had it, and I love going to sleep and waking up to the rain on my windows. I feel like it's just so peaceful.
No, it is pretty relaxing, and Kansas is due for a little bit of a thunderstorm, per se, but that's not the only storm that's actually coming to Kansas. Still to come later in sports, it's senior night tomorrow for men's basketball. What do some of the seniors have to say about their time at KU? Plus, the baseball season has been far from dramatic. We'll update you on some live action from Hoagland Ballpark. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm Travis Calvin. KU seniors have had varying amounts of time with the team. Hunter Mickelson for 2 years, Evan Manning for 4, Jamari Traylor for 5, and Perry Ellis somewhere around 8. Thursday, the seniors had a chance to reflect on what has changed for them since becoming Jayhawks.
You know, the range and then ball handling has gotten a lot better. I feel a lot more comfortable with the ball in my hand, and I think that's definitely been a plus.
The things I cherish the most has been probably just being able to make great friends with my teammates here, guys I still talk to this day, and great memories with my coaches, like all the jokes we have, just stuff like that, off the court stuff. I feel like that's more memorable stuff to me.
All of KU seniors will give speeches to the attending crowd following Saturday's game against the Iowa State Cyclones. And speaking of that game against the Cyclones, it is in fact the last home game of the season for the Jayhawks, as they'll look to get revenge on a January loss to Iowa State in Ames. This game is by no means a must-win, but Coach Bill Self wants this one for his seniors.
Yeah, we'll play the normal way. Now we're going to start all our seniors. And Frank. So Frank and Evan will start the guards, and Perry at the 3, and Maury and Hunter inside. So that'll be how we start. I don't know how long we'll stay with that, but certainly hope that group can play well early. But yeah, we're going to play the game just like it'd be any other game.
Kansas has a habit of sending their seniors off in style. They haven't lost a home finale in over 32 years. I'm pretty sure my parents were still in high school about that time. The Jayhawk defense has been instrumental of late, and on the year they've allowed just a mere 67.5 points per game. In Monday's rout of Texas Longhorns, UT shot just 30%. Saturday will also be the final time we watch two of the Big 12's marquee seniors go at it. Some of the Big 12 coaches, I'm sure, have been waiting for Perry Ellis and Georges Niang to leave for quite a while. Tip-off is set for 3 p.m. on ESPN. And on the diamond, baseball is taking on the BYU Cougars today. It is part 2 of a 3-game series that yesterday saw KU fall 11-10. However, despite the loss, the team is showing progress from earlier in the season. Our own Matt Hoffman has more.
Last weekend, KU in action at the Big 12 Pac-12 Challenge from Surprise, Arizona. Early on, looked like a lot of disappointment for the Jayhawks. Down to their final game, the team needed to find a way to salvage the weekend. Throughout the weekend, the team made strides. Pitching, hitting, by Game 4 it all started to come together. The Jayhawks salvaged the weekend with a win, but more importantly, the team gained valuable experience fighting through adversity. You could see the effects on Thursday. The offense picked up with 10 runs against BYU, even though they weren't able to eke out the win. Now they look for their next goal, getting back to 500 and getting back on track this year. Reporting for KUJH, I'm Matt Hoffman.
And just a few moments ago, before action got underway in Oakland Ballpark, here's a score update from the game in progress. Kansas is currently leading BYU 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. It looks like a beautiful day for baseball. Earlier today, Kansas football announced its starting quarterback, Ryan Willis, sustained a wrist injury and will be limited during spring practices. According to a press release, Willis injured his wrist during a pickup basketball game. Willis led Kansas in passing in the last year, totaling over 1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns. Willis made noticeable gains in his first year, stringing together 6 consecutive games throwing a touchdown. Kansas will have several other options at quarterback for the spring, including Montel Cozart once he's healthy, Carter Stanley, and DeAndre Ford. And on a slightly smaller diamond for the KU softball team, they're on the road yet again, but this time they'll be traveling north. Kansas will be in the Prairie State this weekend for the Southern Illinois tournament. Saturday the Jayhawks will be taking on Eastern Illinois at 10:30 and turning around pretty quick to take on the Butler Bulldogs at 2:30. Then on Sunday, they'll rematch the Panthers once more at 12:30, and they'll wrap up the weekend against the host Salukis at 2:30. And finally, the women's basketball team has played much more competitively over the last 2 games, but that hasn't helped them to avoid ending the regular season on a 20-game losing streak. The Jayhawks are in Oklahoma City today. They'll be taking on the TCU Horned Frogs. The Jayhawks actually took on TCU earlier in the week, but fell by a final count of 55-52. Kansas missed 3 consecutive free throws to end the game in Fort Worth, Texas. However, that's in the past, and it's a new day. Kansas has a fresh shot at the Horned Frogs to get their first win against a Big 12 opponent this season. Tip-off is at 8:30 on the Fox Sports Network. So, Angelina, women's basketball has been struggling a little bit. I mean, they definitely had to wait quite a while in between. Their last win was in December.
Oh man!
So wow. That's quite a while to wait.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it looks like they're not really the only ones struggling right now. Apparently, the lines to the DMV were just too long for one New York woman. Resorting to crafting a fake license plate, she is now behind bars. An Erie County deputy stopped a woman in the village of Springville, New York, after noticing the fake plate on the rear of her car on Wednesday. The vehicle also lacked a front license plate. The driver, 28-year-old Amanda Schweikert, reportedly had a suspended registration and no insurance. Schweikert is now charged with felony possession of a forged instrument and related counts. I feel like I can relate to that a little bit too much because my registration is actually expired. I really still have to get that. Illinois is very expensive though. It's like $130 and I'm on a budget as a college student, you know?
Well, the struggle bus waits for nobody, so you should probably get on that. I mean, you haven't resorted to college or to cardboard yet. I'm sure as a college student you could probably get some pizza boxes or something like that.
Exactly.
A little pizza shuttle on the back of your car. That counts as registration.
Exactly. I am thriving more than that woman is, definitely for sure. Well, that's all the time we have for today. From all of us at KUJH, have a great weekend.